please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Nice. Hello everyone, welcome back to another bonus round, because I have extra stuff left over from This Week at Twitter in my Twitter tab on a Discord server I used to collect sources to make This Week at Twitter, and I thought, well, I can't put it into one video, it's just not worth it. No offense intended, folks, one has to understand what the audience will willingly sit and watch, and duration would be far too long at that point. But these ones are interesting enough, I think they're worthy of a separate video, hence a bonus round. We'll start with Alex Jones. An image from the Washington Times. US Olympic long jumper stripped of national title over positive marijuana test. We can all have certain discussions about that. If memory serves, Matt Riddle, when he competed at the UFC, he was suspended multiple times for having marijuana in his system. The UFC argued, as did many others, that it relaxed him enough, dulled pain enough. It gave him an edge. Matt Riddle claimed sleep, anxiety. It was a never-ending cycle of bad feelings. Alex Jones said, well, this particular iteration of Alex Jones, if only she had tested positive for a penis and not weed, she'd still be the champion.
Ooh, edgy boil out.
Over on Omegon 2, we discussed how Ollie London's been on a bit of a crusade. This crusade is a part of a reawakening, a new image, new man, kind of. Biological man who thinks he is a woman. We do in fact get periods, we do. Included is a video. But I'm going to go to a retweet from Sugar Tits first. I think this person has a closet full of ketchup and delusion.
Just a PSA to all my fellow trans girls out there on estrogen. We do in fact get periods. We do. It took me literally complaining about cramps to another trans woman for me to find out, but doctors don't tell you shit. Just talk.
It is not, nor should it be, nor has it ever been remotely comparable to take the biological process biological women go through and compare it to that of a symptom-like period, in the sense of cramps brought on by having higher amounts of estrogen in your system. HRT does induce symptoms, but they are not the same as a period at all. Many of you know I pay attention to wrestling, pro wrestling, sports entertainment, whichever name you prefer. The current WWE product is absolute shite. It's so bad now they've introduced a new world heavyweight title, with everyone fully aware that whoever gets it is still second place to Roman Reigns, because they've dug themselves into a hole, now realizing they're essentially creating a super intercontinental title. That's what they've done. The belt looks like crap as well, but we won't discuss that here. Wrestlehausen. Asuka has requested her release from WWE according to multiple sources. It was seen 458,000 times. Asuka saw it and said, is this world full of lies or is it full of shit? Because it turns out this is a load of crap. Something conceded later on by Wrestlehausen. Reply to Wrestlehausen though, imagine lying on someone's name about them quitting their jobs just so you can get them to respond to you. Reply, actually the initial purpose was 1 to laugh and 2 to try and get one of my mutuals to respond. If I was looking for an Asuka response, I would have tagged her. Well, you got an Asuka response anyway. I guess you can print that out and save it. To laugh, there is a point there. You make news up, there's an amusement to it. I hope your mutual responded though. Otherwise it really wasn't worth it, was it now? Asuka has been mistreated by the WWE for years. Arguably one of the greatest in-ring performers, certainly for the women, for generations. But as is often the case with the WWE, they don't know how to use genuine, legitimate talent. Think of anyone that had talent and look at how the WWE, or when they performed under a different banner, WWF or WWF, treated them. It's always the same. Vince only likes the muscles. Now, back before Elon Musk took over Twitter, I noticed my thread, my homepage, was getting taken over by a lot of promoted tweets, which were all muted, but also taken over by thoughts under film and show. Even though I follow no film or shows, they were being promoted on my feed, and when Elon took over, they disappeared. Until I got this one. I want to sleep with one random Twitter follower. Anyone down for Netflix and chill? No is the answer, skank. And while we're in this ballpark, I guess I can throw in Keemstar and Darkside Phil. Keemstar, Darkside Phil.
Would never do what Wings and Bookie are about to do.
That loser is sitting at home doing nothing with his pathetic life, waiting for his rich parents to pass away so he can get a digital Hulk Hogan bandana skin on his WWE mobile game. Phil responded to these accusations of his ineptitude, which he is quite inept. He still makes more money than I do, but he's still remarkably inept all the same, by saying the following.
I tell you your ability point titles here of leveling up, so. Okay. Yeah, I don't think anyone gives two shits about what Keemstar does. You come to my chat and try to derail, you're already blocked and you're not coming back. Nobody gives a f about Keemstar, including me. You could just shut the f up about it and never bother me ever again. Thanks. Okay. I got a $1.50 tip.
One of my favorite people to watch on Twitter is John Cleese, legendary comedian from the Monty Python group, Q in 007. I actually found him a very entertaining person for most of his career, in fact, most of my life as well. In Friday's Guardian, there was a front page piece about Hugh Grant. He alleges that the Sun burgled his flat and broke into his car to gain private information about him. May I ask my twits what other papers have carried this story? I've heard sod all about it. So let's surmise from that, even though my career, on YouTube especially, is news commentary, it's not been reported or covered anywhere near as much as one might think. Another tweet of interest though from his, a retweet of Martin Daubney, who had tweeted, "Bloke who pretends to be a woman thrashes nearest actual female cyclist by 1 hour, yet would have been 19th in the men's race where he belongs. It's time to end the cruel, unfair charade of biological men in women's sports." John's tweet, "Biological men in women's sports have an unfair advantage." Oddly, this reminded me of something else that tickled me. Florida man wins women's poker tournament. Of 83 contestants, he was the only bloke, the other 82 were women. Now he was allowed to enter the tournament, as Florida casinos are prohibited from banning men from entering women's tournaments. This is according to the state's own anti-discrimination laws. With the buy-in of being simply $250, he walked away. Well, he took home about $5.5 grand. Congratulations! As is often the case within This Week at Twitter, I do audience participation. I'm going to do it here as well, because I find it quite amusing and I think it's only fair to share this one because it's a very thought-provoking tweet. From Miss Undoomed, partner of the YouTuber Undimmed. Let's see which pedantic shit corrects that first. Fellas, you come home hungry and horny from a day at work. Your wife or girlfriend, maybe both, have prepared a meal and is waiting kneeling on the floor to offer you a blowjob. Which do you want first? The final results indicate 65.4% would rather have the blowjob first and the food after. 34.6% want the food first. I think if we logic this out, while it's all well and good having your meal first and then giving them a meal after, the 65.4% I think are correct. And I can't go into detail why because I'll be demonetized. So let's move on to something wholesome. I saw this tweet from Puppies Eye Over. In Mexico, this dog walked through a parade for the Pope, thinking it was for him. I retweeted with, "F the Pope, there was only Papa the First. Wizard of Cause, first of his name, best of all boys, friendo of all doggos." Tweet has been deleted by the author though, what the hell's that about? What I really like seeing on social media is people's ineptitude at trying to comprehend why there are so many different cultural differences in different nations. In England, when we order takeaway, we normally reference it by the nationality, it's just easier. Except for things like pizza, where you could just say Pizza Hut, Domino's, we don't usually go, "Oh, let's have that thing people think's Italian." Yeah. No. If you're ordering Chinese food, you say, "I'm gonna order Chinese." Same for Indian food. Yeah. Same for Thai. If you have these options available, if you're going for sushi, you say sushi, right? You don't say, obviously, "I'm going for Japanese." No. So, Deaf Noodles, no way in hell British people call Chinese food a Chinese, Lamau WFT. Additionally, the fact that this is what British Chinese food looks like should be a crime against humanity. MFs put French fries and brown rice on a plate, doused it in sweet and sour sauce and called it food. Chinese restaurants do fantastic chips and curry sauce, not gonna lie. And the reason they're served in these plastic containers or the metal trays is because it's a takeaway. They deliver it to you like that because they can put more in the pot and it retains the heat better. It's done in the metal one, it holds the heat better, I've noticed. Also less sweating as well. The moisture will stay inside and not come to the top and dry out the rice. I've noticed my friend Hannah retweeting Deaf Noodles a bit lately, and I'm surprised she hasn't been blocked yet, with "You should see our meatballs." I put the U there because it's not there and it should be, which is Mr. Brain's pork, yes those, and I'm quite fond of these in small amounts. like 2, some gravy, mashed potatoes, some peas and sweet corn, like it is on the picture in fact, yeah, I'll eat those. But because YouTube like to punish creators who say the wrong words, I am not permitted to name them what they actually are. Let's move to the last subject. I noticed a bit of a back and forth between Paige Christie and Nick Diorio concerning Illuminati and a video which referenced quite a bit Legal Eagle. Now, the video didn't go down very well clearly because Illuminati had to put out an apology and did so publicly on Twitter after having said also an apology in DMs, which they showed in the apology on Twitter as well. This being the apology you see here. Lots of people have said that the apology took too long. My view when it comes to apologies is if the apology is sincere, it doesn't matter how long it takes. So really, does any of it matter at all? When it comes to how others perceive it, the answer should be no. When it came to Paige Christie and Nick Diorio, it comes down to a bunch of responses. For example, Nick had said under Paige Christie's tweet, this tweet in question, because it's not a real apology, she's a psychotic freak and a pathological liar. Reply from Paige, why you here? And then blocked. Paige Christie did later on respond to this in video form, I guess, yeah. And I'm not going to play that because in reality it wasn't the best of responses, to be honest. I though want to go to Legal Eagle, who had actually retweeted Illuminati's apology and said, I think this is a big misunderstanding. Perhaps great minds think alike. No one on my team is trying to copy you. Without an exhaustive review of your channel, I believe we used those 2 stars before your channel did. We've used them for 3 to 4 years. The thread in question goes on for quite some time. Nick Diorio's in there though. She's a snake. Get her. He's everywhere. Does he even make content these days? Does he? I'm actually kind of glad that the issue between Legal Eagle and Illuminati was resolved between them. Others want to throw their weight behind it and try and dissect it, that's fine. But actually the problem was between the 2 of them over a simple misunderstanding. One that, as you can see, has been resolved. I like that. Even if you don't like the people involved, although I do like Legal Eagle, I follow his content. I wish I was that good at editing. Yeah, I like the content, I'm glad there's a peaceful resolution, and sometimes it's nice to show that it turns out not everyone is a hot-headed, egotistical keyboard warrior on Twitter, or just angry at everyone anyway. Hi, Nick.